joined by a very special guest.
Can now project that
Well, hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Conservative Circle. I'm your host, Jeffrey Edenfield, and today I am honored to have a special guest, John Frankman. John Frankman is a former captain in the U.S. Army and is a candidate for Florida's 1st Congressional District. He served as a Green Beret in the 7th Special Forces Group, and in July of 2023, he was discharged from the Army after 8 years of active duty due to the COVID-19 vaccination mandate. Thanks so much, John, for being here.
Well, thanks so much for having me, Jeffrey. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. And also, again, thank you so much for your service.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
So, John, how did being discharged from the military impact you?
So it was a great test of my faith and principles. And the process started in 2021 when the shot was made available. I was a detachment commander in charge of 11 other Green Berets. And when I saw the shot coming out, I had some decisions to make. And being pro-life, knowing that these shots used aborted fetal cells, and then continuing to pray and discern about it, and realizing that these aren't healthy. These don't actually help at all. I've been exposed to COVID. I have the natural antibodies. It really kind of tested me as far as going against the grain, standing on principles, and really trusting in God. So it was just an amazing experience, very difficult at times, but doing that, going through that really gave me a drive and a zeal to get involved in politics, because really politics got involved in me, and just seeing the dark side of it and how it can really affect myself and so many of my friends, brother Green Berets, other service members who were hurt by it, and the rest of the country who was very much hurt by Biden's policies, just wanting to make sure that that never happened. So it was really kind of God's providential force that got me into politics.
Amazing. What a great test of faith and a testimony. So if you are elected Florida's 1st Congressional District congressman, sorry.
Sure.
In what ways would you assist the military?
I would do that in so many ways. And that's my top priority, is taking care of the military and veterans. And this is the most veteran dense populated district in the country. It's like 15% veteran. We have not over 90,000. We have 5 strategic military bases. So one, personnel is policy. I'll make sure that I have multiple veterans in my staff here locally in the district to assist service members and veterans in their VA claims. I would fight to get a VA hospital here. The nearest VA hospital is in Biloxi, and that serves about 20,000 veterans, whereas we have 2 clinics here, one in Pensacola, one in Eglin, and they serve over 30,000 people. So I would try to do an agency swap to get the Navy clinic over, or the Navy hospital switched over to the VA, and then give the Navy the VA's clinic. So that's one way to do it. With regards to our service members, just understanding what their needs are and making sure that I'm involved in the House Armed Service Committee. I'm involved in that appropriation process to ensure they have everything they need, and fighting for accountability for our service members. These flag officers, they go up there, and it's just a buddy-buddy system, just as political as politics is in itself. And most of the flag officers committed unlawful orders when they were forcing the vaccine mandate on their service members. So I would fight for accountability. I would fight for medical freedom for every citizen. If we don't have rights of our own bodies, what rights do we actually have? And I would try to get rid of all vaccine mandates for everybody, including for those in the military, and to hold drug companies liable. So just a number of different ways that I want to really serve our service members here.
Well, thank you. So now I kind of want to go into the topic like AIPAC. So you know what that is. That's the Israel pro lobbyist. And well, our representative here, Jimmy Petronis, has received over $61,000. What does he do with that money?
He campaigns with it. And you have to say that it influences his decision-making when he's making votes. And James Fishback, when he was on with Tucker Carlson, he pointed out that Jimmy Petronis, when he was serving as the chief financial officer, bought, I think it was billions of dollars in Israeli bonds, which isn't necessarily the safest decision right when they enter into a major conflict after the October 7th attack in Gaza. but I'm not going to take AIPAC money. And the reason being is I just don't, if you want to be America first, you have to serve the needs of the American people, America's interests first and foremost. It's not anything against Israel. It's not anything against any other country. When our interests align with Israel, that's when we can assist and work jointly on certain things. But we have to make sure that it's the dog wagging the tail, not the tail wagging the dog. And when you have this much money that's being given to different politicians, it's going to kind of sway the way that they vote and think about things. So I think it's very important that we have America first candidates. It doesn't mean that we don't like Israel. It just means that we put America first. And when the interests align, that's fine. And when they don't, they don't.
Yeah, so that's what I like about James Fishbeck is he's running on supporting Americans first, where Byron Donalds is putting AIPAC first, I believe, and of course Jimmy Patronis. And also, Jimmy Patronis has also endorsed Byron Donalds for governor, which is, of course, not surprising, seeing that they both kind of buddy up to Israel, I think. Yeah.
And I don't know if that's all totally just linked to Israel solely. I think that there is somewhat of an establishment here in Florida, and that's something that we've seen. And I think that the people are tired of these pre-selected establishment candidates who are coming into different districts, are being already kind of ordained, coronated, and getting the support and the backing ahead of time. And I think we saw it during the special election when Jimmy Patronis and Randy Fine got the endorsements from Trump, probably via Susie Wiles, Trump's chief of staff. And we see it again with Byron Donalds getting the endorsement for governor. We see it now, I think, in District 2. I think Evan Power is kind of being set up as the person who is sort of the heir to come. And what I don't understand is that Jimmy Patronis is not from this area. He was living in Panama City when he first ran here, and he went within a 5 or 6 month period of time. He went from the chief financial of Florida to talking about wanting to run for governor in 2026, to then running for a district outside of where he actually lives. And it's one thing if you get that endorsement, you come over here, you do the job because Trump asked you to, and you get to know the folks. But now that your seat is open, where your family is, where your family restaurant is, I don't understand why he wouldn't just go back there, because I think he could better serve in that area where he has better understanding. And I think where his weaknesses have been here is especially relating to the military, to veterans. I don't think he's had a veteran on his staff this whole time. I think he just recently got a veteran on his staff, and that's only because he's being primaried by a veteran who is myself, who is calling him out on not really supporting the military and veterans to a great enough extent. So I think that there's just an establishment, and they take care of each other, and they're in the club, and you aren't, we aren't. So we really need the people to step up, support America First candidates, and just kind of take it away from elites.
Yes, thank you. So another topic I want to touch a little bit is abortion. So I believe in Florida, it's up to 6 weeks, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong.
That's correct, yes.
Okay. So Byron Donalds was questioned about abortion, and I want to play that clip real quick.
Will you commit to a full abortion ban as governor?
Right now, we're going to keep the law as it is.
What do you have to say to that?
That's not standing on principle. And the first and foremost response that everyone should say when asked about abortion is that life begins at conception, and we have to protect life from conception on, and that we should work 100% to get rid of every single abortion, no exceptions whatsoever. And he can say that life starts at conception. He can say that I think the soonest we can get in 6 weeks is the best that we can get. But he should say, but I'm going to fight for a full abortion ban. I'm going to continue to work and promote the culture of life. And what I'm trying to bring to the table, I'm sure you see some of the Catholic artwork behind me. I have my master's in systematic theology behind me. I spent 4 years in Catholic seminary studying to be a priest and an Army chaplain before going on active duty to serve as an infantry officer and then as a Special Forces Green Beret. And a lot of people say that politics is downstream from culture, but I want to bring culture up to politics. I want to bring that theological training, the formation, the prayerfulness, the discernments up there. And what you have at the federal level is you might not be able to get a lot done because there's hundreds of people up there and you're working with Democrats and you're working with rhinos, but you sure as heck can help influence the culture and use your platform to make persuasive pro-life arguments, to make persuasive conservative arguments that are in line with the Christian faith, because this country was founded on Christian values. If we don't return to God, we will fail. Most nations, they don't exist forever. And if we want to continue to exist, we have to align ourselves with God's law, which he reveals in scripture, which he reveals in the natural law. You don't actually have to be a Christian to understand it. The natural law is very clear in such things as men can't be women, women can't be men, life starts at conception, marriage is between a man and a woman because that's how you can procreate, and all sorts of things. So I was disappointed when I heard that answer, and I hope that whoever gets elected governor next time will fight to make the abortion ban even earlier, because Florida is now the kind of the central hub for conservatism. And there's been quite a fight in the legislature between the legislature and DeSantis, and now with these different endorsements and this kind of nasty DeSantis versus Trump versus establishment versus America First, whatever. But we need to really fight to push actual conservative values, period.
Yeah, and a question I just want to ask you is, so Ron DeSantis hasn't made any endorsements in this race that I'm aware of right now. Who do you think he's going to endorse?
I don't know if he will necessarily. I love Ron DeSantis. I really do. And I'm so grateful to be here in the state of Florida. I was stationed in North Carolina, and I came down here in 2020, and it was just a night and day difference coming from North Carolina, where they were trying to shut down. Well, I think the diocese were shutting down churches, but you had a lot of restaurants, masking, et cetera. Then you come here and it's totally free. I think he just has done an amazing job. And I'm not sure if he's necessarily going to endorse anyone. And the reason being is he might have presidential aspirations, and there's a little bit of kind of political capital that you put into endorsing someone. I know that it seems as though Trump, most of his endorsements are very much based on loyalty and very much based on who he thinks can win. So if DeSantis were to say, go and endorse someone, there's kind of the question of, does that person win? But if he were to endorse, I would suspect he would consider Jay Collins or Paul Renner, because Jay Collins is obviously the lieutenant governor. Paul Renner is the speaker, his former speaker of the House. I don't know if he would necessarily endorse Fishback, but that would be a very interesting thing. But, you know, I'm trying to focus first and foremost on my race and try to show that I'm the better candidate for Florida's 1st district than Jimmy Patronis.
All right. What does the Frankman plan look like? What are some policies you would implement if you were elected?
Yeah. So my big 4 things, and, you know, nothing's mutually exclusive. It can go way beyond that, just the 4 that I'm going to list. But taking care of the military and veterans is the first and foremost concern. And that especially affects the local area and how the district offices run. So I want to take care of our military, take care of veterans, because this area is so important for that. And along with the military and everything I said about veterans is to preserve the Gulf testing range, because we have the largest testing range here in the Eastern Gulf, where we have a lot of missile testing, et cetera, and we don't have drilling. So I would continue to push that we don't have any offshore drilling and things of that nature. I want to fight to actually bring the budget down. And we're $38 trillion in debt right now. We'll be $40 trillion in debt by the midterms. That's why we have the affordability crisis, period. If you have 10 apples and $10, every apple's worth $1. But if you have $20 and 10 apples, they're all worth $2. And that's what happened. It happened during COVID. It's happened under Democrats, happened under Republicans. It happens with continuing resolutions and these big omnibus bills. So I really do want to absolutely say, no, we are going to cut on spending, or else we won't have a country. We are at the point where the Romans were when they were about to fall, because they kept clipping coins and spreading out, and we just need to get a control of it. So end the Fed, get spending under control. That's the only way to survive. Accountability. I want to make accountability great again. I want accountability for the Epstein files. I want accountability for COVID. I want accountability for the January 6th Fedsurrection, for the 2020 election, for Russiagate that targeted General Flynn. If we don't have accountability in office, and that's something that disgusts me, actually. I don't know if you saw the other day, but members of Congress voted about 300 to 60 to cover up and bury sexual harassment or abuse reports that were at the ethics committee. And Jimmy Patronis, he voted to bury it in the ethics committee. So, and I'm sure he just got the order, and that's why he voted that way. But we need transparency and we need accountability, especially for our members of Congress. If they're going to vote 434 to 1 to release the Epstein files and then not hold themselves accountable, that's extremely problematic, even though I don't think that we've had full justice for the Epstein files. And there's so much more going after the ranch, seeing everything there. So we talked about military veterans. We talked about accountability. We talked about the budget. I also want to fight for medical freedom and fight for all of our freedoms, but medical freedom especially. And I talked about getting and fighting for a medical freedom amendment, something that we can never, ever be mandated to take any drug whatsoever against our will, and that we need to hold drug companies liable. And every other product, if the product injures you, you can sue for it. But if we can't sue the drug companies, I'm not necessarily trying to outlaw the COVID shot. I think if you just have where you can take whatever you want, there's medical freedom, full informed consent, and you can sue the drug company for injury, I think that's going to take care of itself. So those are some of the big ones. And obviously supporting immigration, mass deportations, and other such principles that are going out there.
Yeah. And then one last question I have for you is, why you and not your opponent?
Right. So I'm not a career politician. I've lived here and I understand the military mission extremely well. I was a Special Forces Green Beret. I was forced out for not getting the COVID shot. So I show that I can stand on principle and I can stand on character, and I will not be pressured in DC. I will do the right thing. I will fight for this area. But this is such a military veteran dense district that you need someone who understands the military. And being a Special Forces Green Beret, that means that they gave us IQ tests, they gave us personality tests, psychological tests, went through extremely difficult training. We understand how to overthrow other countries and how to work with other countries in order to quell out insurgencies. And that's extremely important. We have negotiation training and other things of that nature. I also have some investment experience too. I own some houses, do some real estate investment. So I just bring a lot of expertise, especially the military expertise, some of the business expertise as well, in just financial. But we just need people who are just going to do something. We need fighters. We don't need placeholders. This is the most conservative district in the state. You need someone who's going to squeeze every single ounce of red out of it as possible. And Petronas is not that person. He's going to listen to what the House Speaker tells him to do and Republican leadership tells him to do. He's not going to listen to what the people of Northwest Florida, specifically Florida's 1st congressional district, want, because he wasn't picked by them. He came from outside of here, was placed here, and won off the endorsement. So you need somebody who's going to fight for the people and stick to the principles, and that's me, and that's what I'm going to do.
Thank you so much for just being here today, having this interview. Well, everyone, the Florida primary election is on August 18th, 2026, and the general is on November 3rd, 2026. John, thank you so much for being here, and you have a good one.
Yeah, thanks so much, Jeffrey. And if anyone who's watching this wants to help out, they can, I usually say first follow Jesus Christ. Afterwards, if you still want to, you can follow me on social media. You can go to my website, franklinforflorida.com. And if you're able to donate, that's extremely helpful. I'm not working with big APAC money and other donors. I need whatever I can get. And if you can't give money, we also take volunteers, and you don't even need to live within the district to do that. So please just reach out through website, through social media. Would love to work for you and fight for you. But thank you so much, Jeffrey. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, everyone, for watching.
God bless you, and God bless the United States of America.